Hey, in 2019, a student named Tyler Hilkinski was just coming off a great season as a starting quarterback at Washington State University. While most people thought that this young man had it all, he was actually fighting with a lot of health issues involving like mental health. On January 18th, 2018, Tyler took his own life in his dorms on campus. Sadly, this is a tragedy. The stigma on mental health still exists, and many athletes are unsure about how to deal with this problem. Just like myself, I fight with a lot of stuff that I don't really tell a lot of people about. Many athletes still deal with mental health issues, and they have little support with the administration and coaching staff. Luckily, on my coaching staff, they give us a good word of advice, and we could go and move from there. In fact, many underqualified individuals are the ones being appointed to help student athletes deal with their mental problems, and it's not their fault. They just been thrown in these positions, but the consequence is the whole system. It affects the whole system. Something must be done because we gotta overcome this problem dealing with like mental health with athletes and stuff because we don't really talk about it as much. We just go about it. Since the Helinsky tragedy, there are been many more student athletes taking their own life. In 2022 alone, there was a record amount of suicides by college student athletes. And unfortunately, the change has been needed for so long, it's still not occurred. And you could look it up. It's unbelievable. A few high-profile cases, such as the Stanford University soccer player Katie Meyer and James Madison University softball player Lauren Burnett's death, has been recently become known and has started the conversation about mental health in athletes, which it should have happened a long time ago. A long time ago. However, the public attention has not been enough to generate a shift in mental health resources for athletes. Many institutes still lack proper systems of evaluating the problems that occur with mental health in athletes. This is partially due to funding, but it can also be lack of awareness in many cases. Like I said, student athletes, they deal with a lot on a daily basis and they just don't say anything about it. I could point out a few times that I could say that I was fighting, dealing with stuff mentally, and I didn't just say anything about it. But some institutions more funding than others, which may lead in an even playing field for those who truly need help. So some universities, they put more towards mental health problems than others, so it could be an imbalance. There are more resources available though for professional athletes today, but there are still some issues with generating funding and properly planning for these in the college level. Some support systems exist today that can help the mental health problem. First and foremost is the counseling for athletes. The field of sports psychology and has grown more than the last decade and in the last century. There are fields of study that are directly related to sports psychology. This is kind of like in a shift of education system. There's a necessary mental health to eventually provide the necessary support to all athletes. Myself have taken a few courses on the subject, and I found the information to be unbelievable helpful to me personally. Because, like I said again, I have dealt with mental health problems, but not as bad as others. Just things that I feel like I could have dealt with on myself by myself. And there are also coaches that are being trained to handle like mental health problems. Like I said, we have plenty of coaches on the coaching staff that help us with anything that we have trouble with. This is all the brand new tactics, but are necessary to make those empowered or proper trained to handle the issues of today. So just making sure like the coaches like is aware of like how to effectively help somebody. Coaching is no longer just teaching the X and O's. It's not coaching has become a holistic field of development since the turn of the century, basically. There are also many more individuals trained in administration to identify and report signs of mental health problems, which is a good thing because I feel like this could lower like the death rates and mental health problems with student athletes. These new systems will tremendously be beneficial to like athletes all across the world as a whole, but there's still work to be done. I myself, a student athlete here at UTSA, I see firsthand the issues that can occur with mental health as an athlete. I've dealt with some of these issues on my own and wondered what support options were out there for me personally. And I also plan to become a professional athlete soon, so it is encouraging to hear there's someone to always give help and to receive help out there. But there are still people out there that have no idea where to turn. So I really feel like this is an important subject we should touch on more. Thank you.